my friends and I were living in an apartment. We're both incoming second-year college. Our apartment is huge. It has a second floor with a terrace. Usually when we go back to our own houses on weekends, I am the ones who always come back earlier, or one day before our class. When I slept there alone, I heard of footsteps coming through our bedroom. I thought I was just imagining things because I am scared, but I am not. It continued and lasted for how many minutes? After that, I heard the other door open, which is our closet. It was so loud I'm still awake and can't sleep. After that encounter, I shared it to our landlord, and he told me that before we move in that apartment, there was an old man who's sick and died in a heart attack.
When I was like 11, I was friends with a few other kids on my street. We played outside, plus would go over to each other's houses to play video games, eat snacks, etc. One night I was woken up by knocking at the door. I remember going to the door, checking out the window, seeing one of my neighborhood friends, plus opening the door. At the time, it didn't register how late it was or anything. I probably was like, "What's up?" And they said something along the lines of, "Hey, just checking on you. Everything okay?" I said, "Yay," they said, and I went back to sleep. In the morning, my mom was fussing about the lights being on when she got up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Kayla came by last night acting all weird." My mom just looked at me, and that's when I hit me that the friend I saw last night passed in a car accident a couple weeks prior. The fact that I left the lights on from the previous night proves to me that I wasn't dreaming, and I get chills to this day. Just thinking about that night.
I used to work on an oncology ward as a nurse. Our side rooms were kept for end-of-life patients on palliative care, and one patient that we had been nursing for a good few weeks died early one morning. Last offices had already been done by the night staff, and the patient moved to the hospital morgue, so all that remained was to clear the room of personal belongings and tidy up. I sent a student nurse that I was mentoring at the time to do this whilst I got on with the drug round. The student had known the patient fairly well and was comfortable with this job. About 10 minutes after, a colleague came to me and told me that my student had come flying out of the side room white as a sheet and was sobbing in the staff room. I went to find out what the problem was, and the student told me she had been clearing out sink area in the bathroom, had glanced up and seen the deceased patient reflected in the mirror looking at her over her shoulder. My student was a sensible girl, not given to hysterics, but for the remainder of her placement on that ward, she would not go near that side room.
My grandfather died a while back. One day, me and a bunch of my cousins were playing in the front yard, rural area, since on weekends all the family likes to hang out together. So we're out having fun and see Lolo, grandfather, walking towards the house. We all greet him, and he smiles at us. He walks up the porch into the house and hangs his hat by the door. We continue playing until we hear crying from the inside of the house and my uncle driving fast up the driveway. We all rush in to see what's going on and see everybody bunched up in the kitchen crying, telling us that Lolo died early that morning, and they just found out. He lives a few towns away. We looked at each other and told the grown-ups, "No, we just saw him come into the house." They didn't believe us, and we told them that he really did not that long ago, and he even hung up his hat by the door. So everybody rushes to the door, and his hat was hanging right where we said it was. He doesn't ever go anywhere without that hat. So me and my cousins are running all over the house calling for him, while our parents are so quiet and freaking out. He actually did die earlier that morning, and my grandmother couldn't find his hat anywhere in their house. We left the hat where it was, and nobody ever touched it.
I used to work as a nursing assistant in assisted living communities. Usually when a resident started to need hospice, they were transferred out to a higher level of care, so I didn't see death for a long time. When I first started, my favorite resident would play Scrabble with me. She was completely alert and oriented. Sometimes she likes to sit quietly with an iPod shuffle clipped onto her vest and these huge headphones. She loved music. Slowly, she started to decline. I would help her get ready for bed, and she would get upset when she forgot how to do something. The only thing that calmed her down was playing music off my phone. She liked Frank Sinatra and the Beatles. Her independent ability declined rapidly, and soon she was bed still. Loved listening to music. This was during COVID, and her quality of life was diminishing so quickly that we didn't transfer her out. She had an apartment at the facility with all her belongings where she was comfortable. By the end, her dementia had progressed to the point that she couldn't remember how to swallow. Marilyn passed away with me, the head nurse and her family at her bedside in her apartment. I did her post-mortem care afterwards, styled her hair how she liked to wear it, even clipped her little iPod onto her shirt. A few days after she died, a woman in 203 kept wandering into the lobby during night shift, always at 3 a.m. She complained of loud music coming from Unit 202. That apartment was vacant. just full of Marilyn's belongings. She said the music was so loud it was deafening. Whenever the night shift worker went to check, he didn't hear anything. Not really creepy, more sad. I miss Marilyn.
I'm not sure this is paranormal, but certainly not normal. When I was in college, my friend was in a situationship of sorts with this guy, Joey. One night, he made the 2-hour-long drive from his hometown, also both of our hometown, just to sit in his car and tell her how much he cares about her. That weekend, there was a shooting in our hometown. A 16-year-old boy was shot by the police after brandishing a fake weapon during a mental health breakdown. My friend had also complained to me that Joey hadn't texted her at all that day, despite the romantic gesture he made the other day. The school had asked my friend to come into the administration buildings on campus. She thought it was something academic and left. I couldn't help but connect the dots and start to theorize that Joey was the one killed, but was told by other friends that this was impossible. Joey was 18, not 16. I kept thinking about it and texted my younger sister, who still lived in my hometown, "Hey, do you know a Joey last name?" And she immediately texted back, "I heard, isn't it awful what happened?" Ran over to the building my friend had gone to and she was sobbing. The police found her info in his phone as his GF and contacted the school to inform her. I have no idea how I knew it was him who died, especially because we all genuinely believed he was older than he actually was. I'm atheist, and I don't believe in an afterlife. But I sometimes wonder if Joey needed me to know so I could go comfort my friend.